Hey, welcome to the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute with your host, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest, Alan Bishop. Hey, this channel is all about home distilling and legal distilling. If you've got questions, reach out to us in the comments below, social media, or via bishopshomegrown@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out thealchemistcabinet.com.
Hey guys, another little short talking head video here. So, just talked to a friend of mine who was calling to ask me about Sulfur Springs, because she's working on a story that involves a moonshiner making brandy using water from a sulfur spring potentially. You guys might remember that when I interviewed my cousin Bill Butler, if you've not seen that interview, you can go back into the archives. It's way back there. I interviewed him just shortly before he passed away, that he used sulfur water for his peach brandy, and I've mentioned that in my books, I think, as well in the past. But more so than that, my family, the Butlers, actually used sulfur spring water in Kentucky to also make their brandies. And Bill seemed to implicate that there were moonshiners that were looking for sulfur water to make brandy. And I never could figure that out, and Bill really didn't have a reason for it, and I still don't understand it. I know that when I drank his peach brandy, it didn't have that sulfur effect to it for sure. The aroma didn't come across with that sulfurousness, that whatever that word is I'm looking for, with all that in it. And the quality of the brandy was actually really good. But I never could find any reason, any rationale whatsoever why anyone would seek out sulfur water for distillation. It didn't make any sense to me. Now, whenever this friend called me and asked me about the sulfur water, and that told me that she was researching the same thing that I'm kind of talking about now, something kind of clicked in my head and I got thinking about this. So, sulfur water is a little bit of a misnomer, because it's usually not just sulfur, it's usually other things too. And usually those sulfur springs were related obviously to unique geology, but also tended to have hotels, mineral springs, baths, etc. associated with them, just like in French Lick and West Baden. If you come into West Baden or French Lick, there's certain areas in town where you're going to smell that sulfur smell, that rotten egg smell, very strongly. And depending on the weather, how much rain we've had, etc., there's days it's stronger than other days. People came here because of the advice of doctors to bathe in the water, but also to drink the water. Now in French Lick and West Baden, they bottled what was called Sprudel water and Pluto water. And with Pluto, for example, the saying was, when nature won't, Pluto will. So in other words, it makes you shit quite a bit. So it clears you out, right? It's a tonic to clear you out and clean you out. But more so than that, the bottling was discontinued, I believe, in the 1970s. I may be wrong on the dates on this. I'm just doing this off from the top of my head from what I can remember from the story. But there are other things in that water other than just sulfur. So one of the things in French Lick that was in the water, in West Baden that was in the water, was lithium. And for those of you who don't know what lithium is, you can look it up. It, obviously has been used for medications, etc. in the past. Give you a nice little feeling of joy and happiness. And lithium is dissolvable in both water and slightly dissolvable in ethanol. But it definitely absorbs through your skin as well, or through your digestive tract. So, if you swim in the water, you're going to absorb it. If you drink the water, you're going to absorb it. You're going to have an effect, right? And that effect is going to make you feel great for the time that you're there at that place until you get it out of your system. Now, I did look up the boiling point of lithium, and there's no way it would distill across. And I can't imagine, if you're making any kind of quality product whatsoever, that you would have used the lithium water to proof your spirit down, the sulfur water to proof your spirit down, because that sulfur smell is fucking horrendous if you're ever in French Lick and West Baden, right? Until you get used to it, it's very, very bad. But what I did get thinking when I was talking to my friend was, maybe there was some qualitative reason why they were using that water. I still can't think what it is. I can't imagine what it is. I don't know why you would want to use that water for fermentation and subsequent distillation. But what if it was just that everyone knew the health benefits of these mineral springs, these sulfurous springs, and it was a form of early marketing for moonshiners and or distillers, either way, to use this spring water to make their product. People wouldn't have known that there was lithium in it necessarily, because they weren't doing a water analysis or anything like that in the 1800s. All they would have known is that when you drink sulfur water or you bathe in sulfur water, it makes you feel good, right? Or it fixes health problems. So it would make sense that a distiller would set up on those springs, as long as they could ferment using that water and then distill using that water and not get that off aroma and that off flavor, they could set up along those springs specifically to make their product from this magic water that comes from the earth. And even though that water itself is not going to retain any of that positive quality, its medicinal quality once it's distilled, people would still have it in their mind that, hey, this product probably pretty special. It's got to be something good about it. I mean, the water's good for you. It makes you feel good when you bathe in it. It makes you feel good when you drink it. Wonder if the whiskey and the brandy does the same thing. To me, it seems like early marketing, and it just got handed down as you know, distillers and moonshiners looking for sulfur springs, probably because those sulfur springs were associated in the local communities with medicine, and so therefore the whiskey and or the brandy gets associated with the water and becomes a medicine itself. I don't know that that's true, but it kicked off a thought in my brain, and I'm wondering what you guys think about that, because I can't see any other reason to use it. It's starting to make a lot of sense to me. All right, that's what I got. Love you. Later.